Mushrooms. Why are they so heavily debated over? What makes them so intriguing to people like you and I? Let's dive into it. Due to massive changes in legalization, it had and has been a debate among the people of whether or not psychedelic mushrooms or psilocybin should be legal or not. I'm here to support the argument that they should be legal, and here's why. But first, a little context. There are many ways that psychedelics have been frowned upon in the past, including government rejection, spreading of over dramatized propaganda against psychedelics, as well as the overall stereotypes that have circulated through America since the 60s. Now, obviously, there are stereotypes that have circulated in favor of drugs like mushrooms, but there are obviously the not so good stereotypes that have also been present for decades. But when it comes to mushrooms specifically, being informed on what is true and what is false is key to building a perspective on the matter that is strictly based on the facts. Um, my first point being, when it comes to mushrooms specifically, there is much potential for the use of psilocybin in the treatment of a plethora of mental disabilities, and this has just recently been discovered because of bans that have been put on that had been put on studies of psychedelic drugs that have lasted for decades. Um, my source for this is the therapeutic potential of psilocybin, a quote from this being, quote, traditionally the pharmaceutical industry in reflection of societal understanding and government acceptance rejected psychedelic research for a long time. Only recently has psychedelic research slowly made its reintroduction back into the paradigm of modern science, and many clinical studies confirm the potential of psilocybin assisted therapy as a promising adjunct to psychotherapy. End quote. With many studies showing potential for medicinal uses of psilocybin, it is slowly becoming decriminalized in several states throughout the US. Something that is important to recognize also with the treatment of mental disorders with substance like mushrooms is that besides psilocybin's potential to treat several things, multiple different things, it's considered a breakthrough therapy, actually. For those who have, say, treatment resistant depression or PTSD or addiction issues or whatever have you. Um, so, in other words, it's not a new, but a newly available treatment for those who needed treatment for something that's pretty much been solved with guesswork in the past. Um, Now, not to say that psilocybin is a guaranteed cure for whatever is being suffered from. However, it shows much potential through literal research that's been done, to put it simply. My second main point is the low toxicity rate of psilocybin, especially compared to other legalized substances. My source for this one being potential therapeutic effects of psilocybin, a systematic review. A quote from this being, quote, psilocybin is said to have the best safety profile of any hallucinogenic substance generally. Psilocybin has low sociological toxicity. It is a Schedule 1 substance due to high abuse potentiality, low maltreatment, habit forming responsibility, safe mental responses, no connected tenacious destructive sociological or mental impacts during or after use as per millennia of narrative proof in contemporary logical studies. Um, so basically, drugs such as nicotine, alcohol, prescribed narcotics are very easily, debatably, more harmful than most psychedelics alone. Not even mushrooms. Um, Nicotine can cause, like, come on, nicotine can cause cancer, it can cause other health problems. Alcohol can cause just as many health problems, and same goes for narcotics, and they're so addictive. All these drugs can lead to addiction if abuse ever occurs with the user. And these drugs are legal, and they're very obviously bad news. And like psilocybin is just now recently getting introduced, and they're just now seeing potential for it within the past like 20 years. kind of crazy. My third main point, and this one is pretty similar to the first one, but it's the usage of psilocybin for chronic pain. My source for this one being the University of California reports findings in chronic pain. It's just an article. Um, my quote from this one being, quote, the use of mushrooms in sub-psychedelic doses for chronic pain management has received even less attention. This case series details the experiences of three individuals who have used low-dose psilocybin to manage chronic neuropathic pain. Although the nature of each of these patients' pain vary, they all share a common experience, including inefficiency of current therapeutics and decreased quality of life. Through self-administration of psilocybin, these patients have achieved robust pain relief with decreased reliance on traditional medications. These commonalities highlight psilocybin's therapeutic potential in the in the treatment of chronic pain that warrants further investigation. End quote. Although most of the benefits of like to all that's really left to say is like although most of the benefits of this drug are mental, chronic pain is also something that's now beginning to be treated with psilocybin as well. um so because they're discovering that it can treat mental disabilities as well as chronic pain, if more research continues to be done on it, they're going to find more things it can help with. Like that's just a fact. Like in conclusion, you can probably see what I mean now. Being informed on what something that's considered like a scary drug in some people's eyes, if you're informed on what it actually can do and how much potential it has for positive things, to put it lightly, because like most people don't want to be depressed, and most people don't want PTSD or chronic pain, like or addiction issues, you know? So, um, yeah, I hope you've learned something new about these curious little fungi, that you didn't previously know. Mushrooms have been heavily debated over throughout the US and internationally for again, decades now. It's an ongoing thing. Constantly changing. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think decriminalization is a good start, or should they be kept illegal and not used for their potential health benefits? Um, Let me know what you think. I'm curious. Bye.